Introduce myself. I'm Leland Speed. I'm a citizen of Jackson. I've held a few titles in times gone by, but that's my status as today. Also here today with me are the representatives of multiple neighborhood associations in the city of Jackson from all parts of the city. And also Ben Allen, that we all know and have worked with, who has a long history of community involvement as president of our Jackson City Council, and for 11 years as the head of our improvement district that exists in Jackson today, Downtown Jackson Partners. Thank you again for being here. I stand here reluctantly. You don't like to call you folks and stand here in front of you. It makes a fellow nervous. But I know of no alternative. We all know that the city of Jackson's got a lot of challenges, from potholes to the school system, and all sorts of things in between. But I get accused of being an optimist, and so does Ben. If anybody's a bigger optimist than me, it's Ben. I think the mood in Jackson right now among its citizens is about as good as I have ever seen in my lifetime. Recently, the mayor and the governor got together and formed the Better Together Commission to avoid the state takeover of the Jackson public school system. Not too long ago, the citizens of Jackson voted 92% to impose a 1-cent sales tax on themselves. That means essentially everybody. It wasn't that long ago we passed a $150 million school renovation bill, bond issue. All 33 precincts voted in favor of that bond issue. With our new mayor, our city council, people are working together. Better together is a wonderful, wonderful motto. So what are we going to do about all these challenges that we have? The city is working on it. The school district is working on it. It's like a big problem and you cut it into pieces. And different folks are assigned to solve different problems. But what about the balance of the city? The neighborhoods where people live? How do we give those folks help? The city's resources are very limited. We're not asking the state. They're not going to go around helping neighborhoods. They'll give you sympathy, maybe. That's going to be about it. So we have a device that we can use. In fact, we've already used in Jackson, Mississippi. And that's called an improvement district. Now, it took us 3 years to get the improvement district legislation for downtown Jackson Partners, which includes our downtown area. And I'm going to ask Ben Allen to step up now and just refresh everybody's memory on what this one improvement district has been able to accomplish. Ben?
Thank you, Speed. Things like this are never, ever easy. When downtowns across the country were collapsing, in 1977, New Orleans put together an idea for a business improvement district. Since 1977, some 1,500 have blossomed across the country. 16 years later, in 1993, Mr. Speed and a group of business leaders in the city of Jackson attempted to pass a business improvement district downtown, and they did get the legislation to do just that. It took 3 years to get the votes to do that. In that time, so you know, when the business improvement district was started, there were 457 instances of criminal behavior downtown. Today, your downtown business improvement district is statistically the safest area in the state of Mississippi. Irrespective of what you've heard, the narrative that's been told, it's very safe and clean. The police cars that you see riding around downtown are funded by Downtown Jackson Partners with off-duty police officers. Downtown Jackson simply doesn't have the resources that are necessary to do everything that it needs to do. This gives an opportunity for those people living in the area to vote to control their destiny. Now, when it first passed in 1996, 72% of the voters in downtown Jackson voted in support. I'm pleased to announce that our latest renewal, which was some year and a half ago, 96.5% of the property owners voted to continue to pay this assessment, and it had a 10% increase on top of that. We know they are successful.
That number, please.
96.5% voted. And it's not me, it's not Leland, it's the board. It's an incredible group of committed Jackson warriors that are committed to improving our city. This simply gives the opportunity for neighborhoods to do the same thing. If you read the legislation, it's virtually the same that ours is when it was established. There's different mechanisms for collections and what have you because it's the neighborhood, but it's essentially the same. 27 exist in Atlanta. You know, here's the thing. Mr. Speed told me when I first took this job, he said, don't come to me with some good ideas because somebody's already doing it. And it's right. The block by block ambassadors you see. I went to him one day and I said, I'm tired of seeing these police officers in Humvees with Glocks riding around downtown. I think I'm gonna get a bunch of golf carts and get some ambassadors. He said, call this gentleman in Greenville, South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina, named Matt Kennan, and we heard about block by block. Neighborhoods will be able to do similar things themselves. Beautification. You've seen the intersections at Northside Drive and I-55. That was done by one of the ladies' organizations here today. This can happen all over our city. All we are simply asking for is this, knowing that it took 3 years for the Downtown Jackson Partnership to be approved, is simply allow the people to vote. If there's something within the legislation you don't like, that's why we have committees. Let the committee debate it. That being said, thank you all for coming. Thank you all of you for coming. These folks represent neighborhoods from all over the city. We're glad you're here. Thank you. Ms. Speed.
So, for the last 4 years, we have submitted legislation to allow for the creation of improvement districts in the city of Jackson. Similar to what we've done here. 4 years it's passed the city council, mayor, everybody, House of Representatives, and then it goes over to the Senate and it gets stuck in the Finance Committee and never comes out. 4 times this has happened. We've been up and we pleaded with the Lieutenant Governor this past year. I begged him, please allow this to be voted on by the Senate. What do we need a Senate for if we're not going to allow it to vote? 4 times we've been turned down. That's the reason we're standing here today. We're starting, all of us, representing the neighborhoods and more that couldn't be here today. We're going to be explaining to everybody we can get to listen to us. That what we're proposing costs the city nothing. It costs the state nothing. It allows neighborhoods who have the energy and the leadership, and there are a lot of them, all different parts of the city, to organize themselves, establish their own board of directors, levy up to 6 mills on their assessed valuation of the properties, generate some money, and they know what the needs are in their district, and they're not the same as in everybody else's district. This is not a one-size-fits-all deal. This is custom. security is the largest concern, one of the things that it was in downtown. They can spend this money to make their neighborhoods safer, protect their families. Other people will have other priorities. But the goal is to help the whole city, neighborhood by neighborhood, cutting a big problem into small pieces and allowing a team to tackle it. It's being done everywhere, all over the country. But here, we've been blocked by the Lieutenant Governor 4 years in a row. He won't give it a vote. We're pretty confident we'll pass. If we lost in the Senate, we lose in the Senate. We go home. Go back to working on our education program. But the city of Jackson's problems are big. And we need to use every technique and every source of funding that we can get. And if we can get people to adopt their own neighborhoods, fix their own potholes, what's to complain about? We just have a lot of trouble understanding why we can't get this legislation voted on by the state Senate and put into action the same way that we've done with Downtown Jackson Partners. And again, there was skepticism at the beginning. And today, last year, renewal, by the way, don't want to leave that out. These things don't live on forever. They have to be renewed every so often. There was a renewal vote last year, and it was 96.5% in favor. Time is wasted. We should have been about this 4 years ago. Nobody is asking the government in any way for any money. All we're asking for is permission to organize and have votes. And by the way, it requires a super majority of 60%, 50%, not a simple majority, to pass this. And we are very confident that once the people see, just like Downtown Partners had its first vote at 72%, we think people will see that they really stumbled onto something. That's what we want. We're just asking. Allow it to be voted on. It's not going to happen. They've killed us this year. We've got a whole year now to work on and to educate folks. That's what we plan to do. We plan to make ourselves available. You know, somebody wants a speech, somebody wants an explanation, we're here for it. And we will be here. And we want to come back and we want to be able to use this tool, this major tool. Atlanta's got 27 of these things. Right here in Jackson, and we can do it. And these are the people right here that are going to make it happen. If I can stand with the guys. You know, it's frustrating. We can stay with this. It's total. It's our city. It's our home. It's our state capital. Thank you for being here. And by the way, the Lieutenant Governor doesn't live in Jackson. He lives in Rankin County in a gated community.
Can we ask a question? Why is the Lieutenant Governor blocking this?
We would like for you to ask him.
Have you
rather
asked
than
him?
trying to give my interpretation of what he said, I would be much more appreciative if y'all would ask him directly and not through a spokesman.
And I'd like to add, every year for the last 4 years, we've personally visited the Lieutenant Governor, and we have never been discouraged to proceeding for the next year. We have talked at length with people that work for him. I could list the names and what have you, but we've never been flat told, no, I'm not going to support this, and here's why. The carrot stays out in front of the nose. So we need you to ask him.
It just dies. 4 years old.
Yeah. I gather that time has run out this session, is that correct?
Correct.
So it's very close to dead.
I'd say it's at least 3, not 4.
3 of the 4 deads.
Yeah.
So your idea is to draw attention to this with this kind of publicity
Exactly.
and resubmit the legislation as it has been for the past 4 sessions.
Yeah, and we have to recognize, we all understand what the improvement districts are. But most folks,
Right.
it's kind of a new concept too. And they don't really have recognized, and we already have one in the form, very successful one in the form of downtown parking.
Thank y'all. Hey guys, thank you so much.
I didn't, when I got here late, I didn't want to.
Oh, I know.
Ben was like, wait.
Give me a man.
Distracting.